energy this morning, kids. Yes, hey, good morning to you guys. It's your old buddy Grandpaw Peter Koyote coming to you from the cab of my semi-trailer truck here this morning. Been holed up here in a little country truck stop, hanging out with the natives a bit, you know, and God, life is just rock and roll. This week, you know, I'm on my way down to Nogales. You know, pick up a load of tomatoes, get back up to Denver so you guys can have all your gourmet food. Excuse the glasses, man. I know there's too much glare on those things, and they're all old and scratched up. You know, I've had them for a long time. But anyway, I'm on my way to Nogales, and it's night. I'm going to have to run across there at night because it's so damn hot in the daytime in the desert. And then, you know, well, anyway, it's just the way the timing worked out, too. So here I am trucking along in the wee hours of the morning, you know. And the sky is big out there in the desert that night. I couldn't believe it, man. You know, you don't see big skies like that very often anymore, but there it was. And, God, it was beautiful, man. I made a little pause for the cause out there and walked out there in the sagebrush in the desert. And, my God, I couldn't believe what was in the sky above me. It was so dang gorgeous. It was good to see it. You could actually see a little of the Milky Way, which used to be this great big band of light across the sky. And now it's just a little cloudy looking thing, but at least it's there. At least it was that night. Hadn't gone away completely. They've been changing the sky on us, you know, but that's another story. Anyway, so I get back in my truck and proceed onward towards Nogales there on Interstate 10, and there's not much traffic that time of morning. You know, that's why I like that trucking that time of day, because you can make tracks to Nebraska, baby, in one quick hurry, and there's not too much traffic. Even on these major arteries, it lightens up quite a bit. So it's a good time of day to be out there. You know, plus it's just peaceful that time of day. It's good to be cruising wherever you are. The mountains, the desert, the prairies, you know, it's all, you know, an amazing experience traveling along America's highways. You know, there's a lot of energy out there to participate in. A lot of country you pass through, man. You see the amazing wonder of nature. I noticed, you know, they haven't had hardly any rain down there at all this winter, and no snow to speak of. And son of a gun, the desert's still blossoming. It just blows me away, man. I couldn't believe it. It's like all them little lily-looking flowers, and the cacti is all blossoming, and the bushy ones have got flowers on them. And I mean, it's not like a whole carpet of flowers like it is when you have a wet year, but it's all, and it's green out there, little leaves popping out everywhere. You know, it's incredible, man. There's even green grass in the desert and hardly any water. This stuff is so incredibly equipped to survive the dryness, man. It's, you know, it won't last long, but at least it gets up and tries, man. It's amazing to see that. So here we are trucking along. Yeah, I just loved it. You know, I mean, traveling. Man, this country is an amazing place. Just this little continent, this Turtle Island, is such an incredible place of being. And yeah, I don't like seeing what's happened to it. There's just way too much of everything out there. You know, mankind has put their hand stamp everywhere. You know what I mean? We've been living against nature for a long time. You know, and being contrary to the ways of the Mother Earth, you know. And even this trucking. Look at this, out here burning up diesel fuel. You know, if I had my druthers, it wouldn't be like that. And something tells me pretty soon we're going to have our druthers. Because, you know, just on a surface level, there's technologies here that don't cost anything. Run forever. I mean, it's power, baby. You know, it's like we don't need to be burning up Mother's oil, her blood, or her joint lubrication, man. I mean, you know, gee whiz, guys, think about what you're doing. You're giving Mama arthritis, and that ain't kind. You know, it's time we stop this shit, you know. But here's how we're going to do it. It's another recipe altogether. Well, I ain't going to let that cat out of the bag just yet. Let's keep talking this trucking tale. So I get back in my truck out there in the desert. And then you know how much I love to travel. That's just what I was rattling on about. And I start across you know, down the highway there. And here comes this big old shooting star down. Beautiful, man. Right smack in front of me. I mean, didn't land on the road or nothing. It was down there a ways, but, you know, there it was, you know. And I took it as kind of a blessing, you know. I felt the nature of goodness in it, you know, some love coming in to my little personal being here. This raggedy old horseman, you know. Pushing the horsepower these days. Cat Diesel, baby, I'll tell you, she rocks, man. Except it runs a little too hot. So I took it as a blessing. And doggone it, I started to realize that, you know, sometimes these things we see popping out of the night sky, I mean, you know, a lot of it's the heavens sharing their energy with the earth, bringing up the earth level, you know. And each time one of those stars comes down, another one goes up, you know, and we come up a notch. It's another way of sharing energy with us and helping us move up, you know. Then as I'm traveling along, I get on this skinny little road going down to Nogales. We take this little cutoff, you know, because it saves about 50 miles. And it's a scenic, wonderful drive down through Sonarita and Patagonia. Patagonia, Arizona. But it's a beautiful drive. As I'm driving along, a hawk comes flying down in front of me and lands in a cacti beside the road and says hi. And I'm saying, wow, the blessings of Mother Earth are with us even though we're out here polluting the atmosphere. We got to move America's goods for a while yet. So there we are, and the blessing of the hawk comes. And it teaches me, you know, no matter what's going on, and it can be pretty painful at times in this whole life, and it just teaches me that no matter what's going on, you have the strength and the wisdom of the hawk. You know, sharp eyes, you can see, you can know, you can tell anybody's intentions towards you. You can see them coming from 100 frickin' miles away. Now what you do about it's another story. But you got the energy of that hawk. And when you feel like it, you can get up there and sail around and soar around and be with the angels, man. Floating on Mother Earth's currents, man. It's an awesome thing to be, you know. I experienced hang gliding at one stage of my life, flying off the top of tall old mountains and poking along in the ridge lift, maybe catching a thermal. I was never that great at doing it. Oh, God, I loved it. But the not that great part was what got me out of it a year or so later. But anyway, to fly like a hawk. You know, once in a while I'd look back and there'd be a hawk in my wake, or an eagle, just flying along behind me there in that little old hang glider, you know. Just the hang glider's there and the hawk's right there. Down the ridge lift. It's just you and the wind and God. That's an amazing experience, guys, I tell you. That's just amazing. To fly like the bird flies, like the hawk and the eagle. Wow. What a trip. So that was the blessing of the hawk came to me that morning. Just about the same time the sun was coming up. Just little, yeah, I guess it was, just about sun up. And then I'm twisting down through all this pretty country. You know, red rock country, you know, rolling hills. It's a pretty amazing and beautiful part of the desert. If you're ever down that way, I think it's Highway 82. It runs kind of northeast out of Nogales. Take that drive. It's beautiful. You'll like it down there. So now I'm on the outer edges of Nogales, and it's probably about 7 in the morning my time, which is 6 theirs. And right there on the edge of town, what comes casually sauntering across the highway in front of me? I mean, you know, distant enough that there's no chance I was going to get him. I was only going like 40 anyway. You know, I'm slowed down. I'm coming into town. Speed limit's down, you know. And there's this bobcat sauntering across the road. And it's a fully mature bobcat. It's been around for a year or two, man. And like, you know, good size little baby. And that's the blessing of the bobcat coming to you there, you know, telling you that you got keen eyesight, you got a good sense of smell. Now we're talking metaphorically in spiritual terms here, yeah. But you can see, again, like with the eyes of the hawkman, this is the cat, which has a lot of wisdom. Earth energy, ground energy. You know? And it's telling you can make your way through this life. You can see your way through, you can smell your way through. You're intelligent. One of the most intelligent creatures amongst the animal kingdom. You know? And cunning. In an innocent way. You do as nature tells you to. You go with the flow, man. Even with all of our technology, we still do this. You know? Technology tends to want to take you away from that, you know, and to learn to trust the machine and not your instincts, you know. I got far too many computers on these new trucks, I'll tell you guys. Oh, I mean, I love technology. It's, you know, it can be a very useful thing, but at the same time, don't let it be the disconnect, guys. Don't stay in the technology. Use it for creative purposes, yeah. Employ it for the benefit of yourself and many others. But babies, don't let it overtake you. You know, we're using far too much of it. We're far too reliant on it. There's spiritual technologies, babies. It goes beyond the realm of our imagination. But our imagination's in that nation, baby. We got it. We have a replacement for every technology that exists that's as far superior. And it doesn't take manufacturing and mining the minerals and the rocks from Mother Earth. We can leave them where they sit. And we don't need roads and highways and grand bridges and dams on the rivers. Babies, we're about to undo it all. And we've got the strength to get through this. The blessing of the bobcat, the wisdom, the quickness. Babies, that was the blessings of that one little journey. Going into Nogales from El Paso one night. Just one trip. One leg of a trip. Because from there I go back up to Denver and deliver tomatoes, and then, you know, back to Alamos to get some taters. And we'll go do it again. You know, well, don't do it constantly. We get a day off here and there. But sometimes when we're working, we work way too many hours, way too many days, and we get away from our friends on Facebook and so forth. And manage to catch up a little, though, while I'm out there, and we do, you know, get to truck stops that have Wi-Fi's, and there's other little places where you can bird dog a Wi-Fi, so I do manage to stay in touch, but just not as much as I'd like to, you know. And I miss my mountains, and I miss being home. Crestone's an awesome place of being. And the vibe is good, but it's good to get out of there too. You got to do a little of both in that place, because if you stay there, oh my God, you'll be overwhelmed, and after a while you become a hermit, because you're processing so much damn energy through yourself all the time, and you don't feel like talking to other people too much. You get out and socialize a bit, because you got to have some. But anyway, it'll eat you alive, man. You got to have a little bit of the real world too, you know. It's one of those places where the energy and the vibe is just completely different than anywhere else. Some people would say it was a higher vibe. I hate to describe things in terms of higher and lower. I think it's all together. But it's an amazing place of being. But you do got to get out of it. And so trucking comes in handy. And like I've told you before, I may not be doing this forever. I've been doing it off and on for a long time. I mean, since I was a kid. And well, it's time for the energy of the earth to shift, and maybe I got to help do my part here to help rearrange it, you know? So I may not be around here forever trucking America's highways. I'm sincerely going to miss it, because it's been a privilege to be out there amongst y'all and to share a little bit of our lives together when we can, even if it's a grumpy word or two. It's better than nothing. I've really enjoyed being out there. America, Turtle Island, I love ya. You have rocked my role this lifetime and sure shown me a lot of many of the wonders of living. I really, really appreciate having been able to do that. Now these days, hell, the kids have traveled around the earth before they're 23. Probably 3 times, some of them. I mean, the kids go waitress and save their money and travel internationally. It's pretty awesome. You know, and still to this day I haven't been off of this continent. I've been in Canada and Mexico, but to me, it all kind of blends together. That's just a little different variety of the culture, but it's the same place, the same people, the same beings. I mean, borders don't divide us. They're not for real. But anyway, this is an awesome and beautiful place, this continent. And people, there's many amazing wonders out there amongst you too. There are some human beings here that are just off the charts. They're here just quietly doing their thing, you know, getting through life, taking care of business. But they're also in their own quiet way taking care of one another. And they're carrying a love vibe. And those that are sensitive can see it and know it. And sometimes these people don't even know they're carrying it. But they take it along with them wherever they go, and they touch the hearts of others just by their presence of being. And sometimes with their words and their energy and their touch. But there's a lot of them. And they're getting to be more all the time. And one day soon they'll outnumber the assholes. And it's the end of the asshole world. You see what planetary ascension is, and you see why it sometimes can hurt so much? We're here to share the wealth, babies. The wealth of our hearts. No matter what station of life we may be in. That's our function here. That's our journey. And learning to come to trust that. Letting yourself be conscious enough to trust that. And live it. In this harsh, cruel world, baby, we've been taught that that's complete disempowerment. To be a loving human being in a place like this harsh, brutal world where money talks and bullshit walks, and, you know, if you haven't got bananas, you gotta have some money to get them. Because you ain't climbing up my tree to pick no banana. That kind of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, in this world. Dog eat dog my butt. I've seen dogs helping dogs more times than I've seen not. Now think about that, babies. Dogs loving each other and being kind to one another. It does happen. It's incredible. That's all this planetary ascension is. Is for more and more of these lights to come on around this earth. And right now, yeah, they seem to be few and far between, but like I said, one day, soon. Because of the way we influence one another. When we journey, when we sit still, whatever the heck we're doing, wherever we're going. We touch each other's life. We vibrate at frequencies, waves, energy. That's what we are, you know. Physically formatted, but you know, we carry a vibe with us. You take one look at a person in the morning and you know how they're feeling, you know what they're doing. You know, we're in tune, we're in touch with one another. And these little love vibrators, as I like to call them, walking through life, are doing the exact opposite of what's been done before, where so much negative energy's been spread just by us going around and being so damn angry all the time and defensive and afraid, man, you know. Oh, don't let nobody take advantage of you. It's a harsh, cold world out there. You know, oh shit. The only way we're going to change it is by being loving within it. And carrying that influence with us wherever we go. And you don't have to outwardly make one single expression of giving and caring, but guess what? You will. You'll make a lot of them. But even without that, your influence would be there, and people's lives would be touched, and the frequency raises, which raises consciousness, allows us to expand our minds to accept that we couldn't even see before. Didn't even know it was there, yet we did. We could sense it. Now that world becomes visible to us because we raise each other's frequency, because there are people here who care enough to carry some light and some love, then take it out across this planet and share the wealth in a vibrational way. And yeah, they have to function in a money world, and they do rather well or rather poorly, but they're always helping one another. And you know, for the most part, they've been on the lower end of the scale. Those with the least share the most. But it's beginning to spread up that old ladder. And some of the turds at the top are starting to catch on. A little too little, a little too late. But oh well, we'll work it out. Don't worry about arresting a bunch of bankers. Change their hearts. Change yours. Allow it to be. Carry this love, this wealth. If you feel it inside of you now, it's activated. Just go forth and do what you do. Be what you are. And be ready for a journey, because it's going to change you and rearrange you, every part of you. And nothing in this life will be the same for you ever again. And gradually, now, it comes rapidly, really. You see the earth around you changing and becoming a far more beautiful place of being. And the light returns to the heart of this Mother Earth and radiates outward and touches all the stars and galaxies in the universe with a touch of our Mother's love. This brings up the vibration of the whole cotton-picking thing. Son of a gun, are we lucky to be alive now or what? Wow. Stay with it. Let your heart vibrations increase. Go into the pain, if it's there, and rearrange it. You've carried this burden for others. Now, bless these others and yourself by letting it go in this loving way. You just don't throw it out there and give it to somebody else. You change it. You go into it. You transform it. It becomes life, love, sparkly things that go out and touch other lives and bring them upwards, not downwards. You see? And it begins right there with you, me too, and all the rest of us combined. And gradually we come to a reunion of sorts, where we realize our presence in every other being that lives, from the blades of grasses, the pebbles on the path, to the consciousness of the tallest mountains, the trees in the forest, personally, flowers in the fields, and the stars in the skies and the planets around them, and all that is. You see why we need consciousness? It stretches your imagination to even think of that. So let's help spread this around and get this planetoid going, babies. Just keep it up. And those of you that have been making a living at it, don't be so cheesy. Share the wealth. You're hiding a lot of it, keeping it to yourselves because you think you can cash in on it later. Jeez. You got to get out of that way of thinking. Jimmy Swaggart's been exposed. I mean, come on, guys. Don't be the charlatan. Be real this time. Fulfill your purpose here. And knock off with the bullshit. Stop mixing lies in with truths to benefit yourself. It doesn't benefit anybody. Got to take care of the wealth inside. Then you'll understand. And you may have to live in poverty for a little bit. Maybe not. I don't really, whatever comes. Take your lumps, your lessons. We all do. Whew. Sometimes it's harsh. But look at it this way. It's better than getting a spanking or a beating with a belt or something, for heck's sakes. Could be a lot worse, in other words. No matter how bad it is, it can be a lot worse. And if you look at it, even as you're going through the tough shit, you're doing far better than most. You're being blessed. It's not anywhere near as difficult as it could be. And you don't have to look far beyond yourself to see it there in a lot worse fashion in somebody else's lives. Man, I'm telling you, it's just... even when we're miserable, we're spoiled rotten. But there's not a thing here we can't get through. And not a blessing that we cannot accept for ourselves, because we know it's for the benefit of others too. There's nothing selfish about that whatsoever. Letting yourself be blessed is probably one of the hardest things to do in this life. And if you feel too blessed, you start either picking on yourself or trying to give it away. You respond in some way because you don't feel quite right about it. You know? It's the way we've been made to feel. Guilty about whatever we are, wherever we are. So we have to work harder, you know, improve ourselves. Yeah, okay, well, sure, why not? I don't think you should make it that hard, though, really. It's just a matter of seeing what you really are and sharing that. Finding the wealth inside. And if you don't feel it, you don't see it, well, hey, get into some form of meditation that involves the third eye and palms of the hand. Real simple. Most of you are doing it already, just intrinsically. You'll start to recognize that a lot of your life you've been in meditation and didn't even know it. That's another section of consciousness. You change your views of everything you've ever done. You know, when you look at the past, it's not the same as it was before. Now you understand why you were in it. You know, it starts to make sense. You know, the pieces start to fall in place. It's a blessing when that happens. There's some connections you're going to make and some people you're going to meet, if you haven't already. They're going to help these pieces fall into place. It's amazing how intricately detailed all of this ascension is, right down to the smallest of human beings. You know what I mean? We're all like a player, and everybody has their part, their role. You know what I mean? And we're all being called into service now. And we're all going to do it. We're all moving in that direction, whether we know it or not, because of the influence of the little lights, the little sparklies that are roaming around amongst us here. God, isn't life awesome? I love it. It's amazing as well. And sometimes you spill coffee in your mustache too. Man, that's what I get for being so enthused, huh? Well, blessings to you, my grand partners in life. And we all babies. But we learning quick, baby. We smart little kids. You can't hide no cookies from us. Yep. So here we come, babies. Rock and roll. It's good for your soul.